jokes about Asian men having small penises, very, very small, like micro penises, less than 2 inches. That is the type of jokes that get spread around like it's really funny, but actually is very damaging to a lot of young Asian men's self-image and their confidence about their sexuality. Even with a movie like The Hangover, which is hilarious, you also have the guy, Mr. Chow, jumping out of the trunk naked, barely see his penis. There is an obvious attempt to try to make that Asian guy into a caricature, heavy accent, flabby dude, no penis that you can see. So it's really not that big of a stretch to understand that young, impressionable Asian guys are going to soak this type of messaging up, take it into their own belief system and start to doubt their own value as men. That it becomes integrated in the way that we see the world and the way that we see ourselves. One of the reasons why I'm making a video about this stereotype is because at a certain point, it did affect the way that I saw myself, my own value as a guy. The reason why I might have had these thoughts like, well, if I just found this one woman that would take me, she didn't even necessarily have to be that pretty or attractive or smart. If I could just get somebody to like me, maybe there was this belief I wasn't enough, that I wasn't going to be able to pleasure her in the way that a guy was supposed to, that I was ready to settle for less than what I was capable of. So let's take a look at 2 ways that this stereotype can really affect guys' dating life, but also his confidence. Number 1, what I think a lot of Asian guys will complain about is girls don't end up choosing Asian guys as dating partners. If you've ever used Tinder, Bumble, or any other dating app, typically Asian guys just don't get as many likes, matches, because the overall perception of the value of an Asian guy isn't as high as some of the other races for white or black males, because there's that perception that Asian guys are that nerdy guy, are sexually less attractive and impotent. The second effect that we don't talk about as much is the way that it affects the belief system of young Asian men to the point where just because you get a guy to doubt his own value, then it messes with his confidence when he's going out to talk to women, that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you ever heard of the story of the elephant and the rope, I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit. The young elephant was tied to a rope ever since it was a baby. And just because it couldn't escape when it was young, then established this belief that he was never going to be able to escape. And so even as a big, full-grown elephant, full ability and physical force to be able to escape from that rope, it just doesn't, because you've already established the limiting belief since he was young that he wasn't going to be able to break free from that rope. And so you have this dynamic for Asian guys where you have a young, impressionable Asian mind that is watching all this TV programming, all these jokes about how he's inadequate, and you get him to believe that he's flawed in some way. That belief ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy because he's not even going to go try anymore. He might end up having this irrational fear about going up to approach women, or this ability to really be successful with women overall. He might even stop himself before he even tries. And that is one of the more damaging aspects of this stereotype, is how it affects the internal world or the belief system of young Asian men. So being an Asian guy myself, I know that a lot of Asian men want facts. Let's just go into some basic facts to clear up the air. First of all, you don't need to have an 8-inch penis to be able to satisfy women. And the second thing is that Asian men do not have micro penises. Micro penis is actually defined scientifically as 3.67 inches or less. The average Asian size is anywhere from 4.5 to 5.3 according to Google. That is not a micro penis, that is about average. And you also have another fact which is kind of interesting, is that the average vagina depth is anywhere from 3 to 7 inches, so not as deep as you think it would be. So if you have an average size penis, 5 inches, you're probably going to make her feel uncomfortable just from having an average penis. And the other thing that you can realize as an Asian guy is that there are so many other ways to demonstrate that you are a sexually attractive man to women. There are essentially 7 qualities that make up your sexual attractiveness to women. Physical size being one of the traits, but there are many others. Things like emotional intelligence, your ability to manage your own emotions and understand her emotions. There's also hygiene and sexual health. There's your basic grooming and whether or not you're in good health to have sex with her. Compatibility, so your shared interests, your values and your sexual preferences. There's also sexual knowledge and skills. So your ability to make the most of every inch that you got and other tools that are at your disposal. It's your knowledge about the positions and the techniques and even the intensity. All these things could increase your sexual attractiveness. What about your communication and your social skills, your ability to express your desires, actively listen to her, and really remember what she says, your mutual understanding about what you want out of the relationship, or just socializing with coworkers and friends and demonstrating that you are a leader of people, leader of men. And lastly, here is your confidence. How many times have you heard that women really value confidence, your sense of high self-worth, and your comfort with your own body and your sexuality? Something that is subjective. You don't necessarily have to have a huge penis to be able to feel that. It could be for any reason that you want to decide for yourself. If you've been looking for a group of mentors or maybe peers, friends that have shared experiences, having to grow up with these negative stereotypes and having to deal with it on your own, not really quite knowing how to deal with the insecurities and whatnot, here's an opportunity for you to join a Facebook group called Growing Up Asian in America, where you have a small group of guys that are very serious about learning how to overcome negative stereotyping, how to deal with challenges that are unique to Asian men, maybe even expand to some of the topics that you want to talk about to become successful and attractive and the type of guy that you know that you're capable of becoming, but maybe you feel like you've been holding yourself back in some way based off of the negative stereotyping or the belief system that you acquired. So if you want to join the Facebook group that we've set up, click the link below. We'll see you there.